told me they were going to fix this.
Good morning.
It's over there, yeah, at the top. Yeah, nice. I didn't supposed to get out of the time. Yeah.
I have my bad body, you know,
Testing. I know you did. Just turned it back on now, so you can never see anything here with this. Yes, it got in last night, and we didn't see it again, but I'm guessing it's. Yes, I'm guessing. books under here or one? One.
The green. Yeah, the green one. Okay, great. Great. And
You know, you gotta help her find the moth tier, that's the only problem, but it won't be too terrible, I hope. We're gonna get on time, so we don't, there's a lot of stuff, I don't think we're looking at, a lot of talking from parents, but
okay.
at least they said they weren't.
Ready? Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So glad to have you all here with us today on this special day of Izzy's Bat Mitzvah. We're going to get started in our prayer book on page 103 with Birchot HaShachar, blessings for a brand new day. We ask that if you're able, you please rise. Page 103. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sechvivin halachinu yom u'vin hayla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher asani betzamho. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam abisharumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokar etz hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa likot tzarki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam mosei Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam motei Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam natan liyahif koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu haolam. Otneinu hayom v'chol yom lechanu chesed orachamim b'nech v'nech ha'inu v'tig malenu chasedim tovim. Baruch atah Adonai kol chasedim tovim ne'amo Yisrael. You may be seated, page 105. Le'olam yehei adam yirei shamayim. Anshe Hashem. Rabbi Nachman. Page 106. Ashreinu matavcho kinu manayim go'aleinu mayafa yerushateinu. Ashreinu shanachnu mashkimim arivim erev avokev ramim pamayim bechol yom. Shema Yisrael na Eloheinu Adonai echad. Atah l'tzonu nivra. Shmei. Kadesh את שמך מקדישי שמך מקדש את שמך בעולמך וישועתה תרים ותגביה קרננו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש את שמך ברבים. Choose a rabbinic text to study between pages 107 and 110. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קדשנו. Page 110. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולאי אבותינו שתיתן חלקנו בתורתך ונהיה מתלמידיו של אהרון הכהן אוהב שלום ורודף שלום אוהב את הבריות ומקורבן לתורה. Please rise for Kaddish D'Rabbanan, page 111. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה ועלמא דברה קירותי והמליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. על ישראל ועל רבנן ועל תלמידי הון ועל כל תלמידי הון ועל כל מענדי עסקין ואורייתא די ועתרא דין ודי בכל אתר ואתר יהי להון ולכון שלמה רבה חינה וכיסתא ורחמין וחיין אריכין ומזונה רווחה ופורקנה ממקדם אבוהון דבישמיא ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו וברחמיו יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. You may be seated. A psalm for Shabbat, page 112. היום יום שבת קודש בו בבית המקדש מזמור שיר ליום שבת. הרי אסור כי סנתני. אתה בצדיק. עוד ינובון בסבד השנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי יש אדוני צורי ולא עוולתה בו. Page 120, Psalm 30. מזמור שיר חנוכת הבית לדוד, ערבים אחד אדוני כי דיליתני. בערב ימים הסתרת פניך אליך. הפכת מספיני למחולי מדקת סכיבתה זה ניסימך למען יזמך חבא ולא ידום אדוני אלוהי לעולם עודך. Mourner's Kaddish, page 121. יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה קירותי והמליך מלכותי וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. Please rise for Baruch Shemar, page 122. Baruch Shemar Hayaolam Baruch Hoseh V'Reshit Baruch Omer V'Hoseh Baruch Ozer U'Mekayem Baruch Merachem Al Haaretz Baruch Merachem Al Habriot Baruch Meshalhem Sachar Tov V'Rehav Baruch Alad V'Kayam LaNetzach Baruch Podehu Matzil Baruch Shemo Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Chalam. Chasidat. יחיד חיי עולם היא מלך משובח מודד שמו הגדול ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מהולל ותשבח עוד. You may be seated, page 136. אשרי יושבי ביתך עוד ילדוך סלע השם שלך ושם שלתי למדינה רמימך כל יום וברך כל שם גדול מים הנרק מעלך זכר טוב יבל נוחת יאמרו שמח. פותח את ידיך, מספיק לך רצון צדק. תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו יברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם בהר ואנחנו נברך ואת עולם הללויה הללויה הללי נפשי את אדוני page 137 אל תפתחו תפתחו עושה אדוני שומר את גרים יתום והמנד יעודד בדרך רשעים יהבס ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה הללויה Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Keep those around the hand. On any spell of Kochadim, God on any. Not me, not in the Flamin. Shabbat the Yerushalayim and Adonai. Shabbat Himato. מגיד רב יעקב חוקיו ומשפטיו לישראל לא אסכן לכל גוי משפטים בעירם הללויה 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 תלונה מן השמיים על במרומים page 139 שמי השמיים הללויה וירם קרן לעמות ילה לכל חסידיו לבני ישראל עם קרובו הללויה הללויה שיר לאדוני שיר חדש לאסור מלכיכם בזיקים נכבדיכם בחבלי ברזל לעשות במשפט כתוב הדר לכל חסידיו הללויה page 141 Psalm 150 Hallelujah, 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 el bekadsho, hallelujah, birki hauzo, hallelujah, bikvorotav, hallelujah, kerov gudlo. Hallelujah, 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 ותקע שופר, hallelujah, בנבל וכינור, hallelujah, בתופום החול, hallelujah, במינים והוגב, Hallelujah, 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 בצלצל לשמה, hallelujah, בצלצל לתשועה, כל הנשמה, תהלליה, הללויה, כל הנשמה, תהלליה, הללויה, ברוך אדוני. וברוך שם כבודו לעולם, למלך פועלות כל הארץ, אמן ואמן. Please rise, page 142. ויברך דוד את אדוני, וניקח גובר בברכת אדוני. כי כל השמיים, כל שכב מלפניך, אתה אדוני. אתה אדוני אלוהים אשר בחרת באברהם ויצאת תאמר כסדים ושמת שמו אברהם ומצאת לבבו נאמן לפניך וחרתי עמו ברית את ארץ הכנעני. אדוני ויעמדה קטה לפני ויבוא בתוך ים ביבשה ואת רודפי משלחת מצוות כמו אבן במים עוזים וירשע אדוני ביום ההוא page 143 Vayar Yisrael et Mitzrayim et Osvatayam, Vayar Yisrael et Hayat HaGolah, Asher Salam Mitzrayim, Vayiruham et Adonai, Vayamin Adonai Moshe Avdo, Az Yashir Moshe v'nei Yisrael. 3 lines down, second paragraph. Ozi vezimarat ya vayehi lishua. 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 Zedim behu. Tamal bichsum yamin khadon aisirat ayavos achalek michamo khabal minaka marati lo sefan kol shekha shalom yekso kantivala lekhem memata. Page 144. Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Vaed. Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Vaed. Kila Adonai Hamlucha Moshe B'Goyim V'Alo Moshe B'Aretz Nishparat Haresav V'Yitzal Adonai Hamlucha V'Yad Adonai L'Melech Kol Haaretz V'Yom Ha'Li Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad. You may be seated, page 145, Nishmat Kol Chai. Nishmat Kol Chai Tevarech et Shimcha Adonai Eloheinu V'Ruach Kol Basar. Yadam. Amore Rishon. Yelofina Malashira. Yadin Rishon. Yanafim speaking. Amen. You need time. God's Matah. Again. Nehalelechon Shebechechan Fa'echan V'Rachet Shem Kodshecha Kamor Le'David Baruch Nafshi Et Adonai V'Chol Kravai Et Shem Kodsho. Page 147. Ha'eh b'tatzmot uzecha Hagadol b'chod shemecha Hagibol ha'netzach v'nor b'norotecha Hamelech ha'yoshev Al kisei ram ben hisa.
With that, we conclude our preliminaries that get us into the mood for our worship this morning. And yes, if you do hear a little chirping, it is a little bird that somehow got in last night. And so, believe me, he's trying to figure out a way to get out, I'm sure, and we will help him do that later today, I hope. But we move forward in our Siddur to the beginning of the Shacharit service. And as we prepare to do that, we call upon Marissa, if you'll come forward with Izzy as you present to her her talit.
Do I need my binder with me right now? Okay.
Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chitatev v'tzitzit.
Mom, move my hair, move my hair, move my hair. Love you, Mommy.
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming, and I
Shop
made this-
Manabella Couture.
Okay, stop it. And I made this tallis for my special bat mitzvah for today, and I am so proud to see her up here, and I love you so much.
Love you too, Mommy. Mwah.
So it is a beautiful talit. We kind of matched today. Look at this.
Yeah, that's true.
We planned it that way. It's a beautiful talit, and the talit is a symbol of the acceptance of the mitzvot, of the responsibilities we have as Jews to work to make the world a better place, to do the rituals and acts that remind us that we are Jewish, and again that we connect with God and with one another. And so it's a beautiful talit, one that was homemade for you. It's rare to find a homemade talit by Mom. So we pray that you will wear it in good health and be here on the bima participating with it on as you will be in the future. Izzy, you can go on and take a seat for a few minutes. We're going to, you can just leave it here if you want, or take it with you either way. And we're going to begin our Shacharit service on page 147. There you will find the beginning of Shacharit. Izzy will be helping out a little bit later during Shacharit and then throughout the service, of course. So we turn to page 147. Shochen ad maharam v'kadosh shemah וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נבטהילה בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ובמקהלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל והנה פרשם כמוכנו בכל דור ודור שכן חובת כל היצורים לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו להודות להלל לשבח לפאר לרומם להדר לברך להלל ולקהל כל דברי שירות ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך. We rise. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו אל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ כלפנינו אלוהינו. ברכות והודות מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אלכי העולמים. We're in the middle of 148. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ביעמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתשמע וינשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. We're on 149. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Top of page 150. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or orech Moshe oseh shalom uborei et hakol. You are welcome to be seated. Hakol yaducha v'hakol shabachucha, kol yom kadosh Adonai. I'm on the bottom of 150. Ein kerkecha Adonai Eloheinu ba'olam hazeh v'yein zulatcha malkeinu l'chayei ha'olam haba efes piltecha go'aleinu limot ha'mashiach v'yein dome lecha Moshiachenu l'tchiat ha'metim. 151. El Adon al kol hamasim baruch umvorach v'fi kol neshama godlo v'tuvo malei olam da'at udvona sovev imoto Hamika el achayot hakodesh v'nedar b'chavod ha'merkava zechutu mishor lifnei chiso Chesed v'rachamim lifnei chevodo Tovim me'orot shebara Eloheinu yetzaram b'da'at b'vina u'chaskel koach u'gvura Natan bahem liot moshlim b'kerev tevel Maleim zivum fikim noga na'ezivam b'chol ha'olam Samechim b'tzeitam v'sasim b'voham Osim be'ehem ha'retzon konam Pe'er v'chavod notnim lishmot Tzahal verina lezecher malchuto Kara l'shemesh vayizrach ura'ah v'titkin surat alvana Shevach notnim lo Kotzevam aharom Tiferet ugedulas rafim ve'ofanim ve'chayot hakodesh. 152. La'el asher shavat mikol ha'ma'asim ba'yom hashvi'it alav yashiv al kizeh kvodo. Titbarach Moshienu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha v'al me'orei or she'asita yifaru chasela. 153. Titbarach zuhureinu malkeinu v'go'aleinu borei kedoshim yishtabach shim chalad malkeinu yotzer mishartav. Kulam ahuvim, kulam beruim, kulam giborim, v'chulam osim yehema, uv'yirat etzon konam, v'chulam porchim epihem b'kedusha uv'tahara, v'shiva v'zimra, umbarachim umshabachim umfarim uma'aritzim, umakdishim umamlichim, et shem ha'el ha'melech, Hagadol hagibor v'hanora hakadoshu v'chulam mekablim alehem al malchut shamayim zeh mizeh v'notnim reshut zeh lazeh lehakdish liot ramanachat ruach v'safa v'ravinim akedosha kulam kecharonim v'omrim be'yira kadosh 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 Adonai Tzevaot Melochol Haaretz Kevodo V'hofanim v'chayot HaKodesh Bera'ash Gadol Mitnasim l'matzarafim Umatam meshabachim v'yomrim Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo Le'el Baruch Nimot Yiteinu L'melech HaChai v'Kayam Zmirot Yomerot Tishba. We're on the very bottom of 153. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh chulanu meher le'oro. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh chulanu meher le'oro. Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. Page 154, we join together Ava Rabbah, containing our second bracha, our second blessing, reminding us of God's love for us and our love for God. 154. Ahava Rabbah Avtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem Lagedol Avitera Chamota Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avor Avoteinu Shebarchu Becha Avinu Malkeinu Vatelamden Chokechayim Kein Techonenu Tzlamdenu Avinu Ha'av Harachaman Amrachim Rachim Aleinu V'ten Belibenu Lehavinu Haskel Lishmoa Lilmadu Lilamed Lishmar Velasot Ukayem Et Kol Divrei Talmud Torah Techav Yahava V'ha'ernenu B'Torah Techa V'dahabek Libeinu B'mitzvotecha V'yachid Levavenu Le'ahava U'yer'a Et Shemecha V'lo Ha'nevosh Le'olam V'ed V'lo Ha'nevosh Le'olam V'ed Ki v'shem Hodshecha Hagadol v'hanora b'hatachnu Nahagila v'nismecha. Really work to make the world a better place. Page 154. V'havienu l'shalom me'arba kanfot haaretz V'tolichenu komemiyut le'artzenu ki elpo yeshutata uvanu v'chata mikolam v'lashon v'keraftanu L'shimcha gadol Selah be'emet Lehodot lecha Oyachedcha b'yahava Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'yamo Yisrael b'yahava. 155. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kol Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed Ve'ahavta Et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha U'b'chol nafshecha U'b'chol me'odecha V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom levavecha V'shinantam levanecha V'divartam tam V'shivtecha b'beitecha U'vlechtecha b'derech U'shofbecha u'kumecha Ukshartam le'ot al yadecha V'hayu totafot bein einecha Uchtaptam al v'yuzot beitecha U'bisharecha. We join together in the English on 155 in the middle. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. We continue silently, page 156. In the middle of 156, you'll find the biblical instruction to wear the tzitzit. Again, a reminder of the mitzvot, the very mitzvot that Izzy today as a bat mitzvah accepts upon her as responsibilities as being a Jewish adult. Those are her responsibilities now to perform and to be a part of as she enters the Jewish community formally as an adult. 156 in the middle, we join together. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdeihem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf patil techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit oitem oto Uzchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai, v'asitem otam, v'lo taturu, acharei levavchem, v'acharei nechem, asher atem zonim achareihem, leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'etz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, v'yatziv nefam v'kayam yashar. Lidor vador hu kayam ushmo kayam v'chiso nachon u'malchuto v'yamunat talad kayamet v'rav chayim v'kayamim. Emet shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu malkeinu melech avoteinu go'aleinu go'el avoteinu yotzreinu tzur yeshuateinu podeinu matzilenu me'elam shemecha ein Elohim zulatecha ezrat avoteinu atahu me'olam agenu Moshe levnehem echal v'dor v'dor. We're in the middle of the top paragraph on 158. Ram v'nisa gadol v'noram hashpil geim u'magbi hashifalim motzi asirim u'fodan ahavim v'hozer dalim v'yon eliamo b'yet shavam elav Tehilot le'el elyon baruch hu u'mevorach Moshe u'bnei Yisrael lefanu shira b'simcha rava v'yamru cholam Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Norati lo sefele, Shira chadasha, Shibchu gilim, L'shimpat al sfat hayam, Yachad kulam hodu v'him licha ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. We rise. Tzur Yisrael, kum ha'bi'ezrat Yisrael, uvtechinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael, go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
We begin the Amidah together on page 159. There you'll find the left side, as again we add the Imahot, the matriarchs, top of 159. Adonai sefatai tiftachu v'yavita v'iratecha. Adonai sefatai tiftachu v'yavita v'iratecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Hodei Avot, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot, U'Mevi Goel Lifnei Bneihem, L'Man Shemo V'Ava. Melech Ozer Ukoked Moshiach U'Maked, Baruch atah Adonai Magid Avraham Ukoked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayem et Timotav Rav Le'Hoshia, Mori Atah Mechayel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayem etim B'Racham B'Rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato v'shenei achar, v'mamoch abal yevurot, u'midon elav, melech me'it u'mechayem, U'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanat al-hachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai v'chayei hametim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Kishem shemaqdishim oto b'shmei marom, Kachatu adad v'yecha, v'karazel zav yamar. Kadosh, 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 Adonai tzevot, Meloch haaretz kevodo. Az b'kol rash gadol, adir v'chazak mashmim, kol mitnasim l'matzerafim, l'umatam baruch yomeru, baruch yevod Adonai mimkom chamaginu tofiav. Mimkom chamalkeinu tofia v'timloch aleinu ki mechakim anachnu lach matai timloch b'tzion b'karov b'yameinu le'olam va'ed Tishkon, Titgadal, V'Titkadash, B'toch Yerushalayim Yirecha, Ledor Vador, Netzach, Unetzach Netzachim, Ve'einenu tirena malchutecha, Kadavar hamur b'shirei uzecha, Al Yedei David Mashiach Tzidkecha, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohayich Tzion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah. Ledor Vador Nagid Godlecha, Ulnetzach Netzachim Kedushatcha Nakdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu Lo Yavush Le'olam Va'ed, Ki El Melech Gadol V'Kadosh Ata, Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Yismach Moshe B'Manach Chelko, Ki B'Neman Trakelo. When you're through, you're welcome to be seated. As always, please take your time.
Can you help with this session? We conclude the Shacharit Amidah with the singing of Oseh Shalom, the bottom of page 166, as Izzy leads us.
Oseh Shalom B'Mamav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amen.
We continue with Kaddish Shalem, page 167, as we conclude our Shacharit service. יתגדל ויתקדש שם ברבה, בעלמא דברה כיותר, ימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון, ובחיי דרכו בישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעולמיה יתברך, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה, ברכו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו, אמן. תתקבל צלותון ובאותון דכל ישראל, קדם אבוהון דיבי שמיה ואמרו, אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו, אמן. עושה שלום ברמה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו, amen.
Am I doing this all myself? Okay.
With that, we conclude our Shachari service and we move forward into the Torah service in just a moment. Let me just announce to you, you may wonder what you're doing with a scarf, a colored scarf. Hey, look which one I have up here.
Oh, purple.
Matches perfectly for you. As you know, we have to continue to take precautions for COVID, and one of those precautions we've been taking is we are refraining from passing the Torah as we would from parents to, or grandparents, parents to children. Certainly, we are refraining from that just as a safety measure, and certainly we're not yet at the point where we're comfortable being able to parade the Torah around the sanctuary, which would be our normal, so that we could kiss the Torah. We show our love and devotion and honor to the Torah by doing so. So our executive director a few weeks ago brought to us Rabbi Ricky brought to us a tradition that comes from Iranian origins and Sephardic origins, where we would wave a scarf as a way of acknowledging the Torah. They used to tie it around the scarf, around the Torah as well. But we're going to take that tradition, and we've been doing this for the last number of weeks. As Izzy holds the Torah, and then when we open the ark, we take the Torah out. We wave the scarf as a sign of our devotion, as a sign of our connection, and our welcoming and greeting the Torah. So we will do that throughout our Torah service when we are taking the Torah out again, and when we would be normally carrying it around. We will wave our scarves as, again, a way of welcoming the Torah from the ark and of showing our support as well to Izzy as she accepts Torah upon her, again, as a bat mitzvah. So as we get forward into the Torah service, remind you, you'll see us doing that. That's what we need your help with as we honor the Torah and we honor Izzy. Just also remind you, just always a good point at this point to remind you, if you have an honor coming up onto the Torah, up onto the bima, to make sure you have a head covering on. That's our custom here, minimally have a head covering on. And I'll just remind you again, aside from us up on the bima, every now and again, we ask that you keep your masks on and keep them up above your noses so we can continue to be safe. We look forward to a time where I will not have to make that announcement. I look forward to that very soon, I hope, sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, we hope you will help us be safe. So with that, we're going to go into the Torah service as Izzy has the honor of leading us through the Torah service. We turn to page 168 as Izzy starts our Torah service for us.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, yeah. אין כמוך אלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך,
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני Aharachamim heitiv avirtzon etzion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim tivnei chomot Yerushalayim ki lecha levad vatachnu melech Aaron v'nisa Adon olamim. We rise as we prepare to open the Aron HaKodesh. Larry and Julie, if you'll come forward. $168.
ויהי בצהרם ויאמר משה
Kuma Adonai v'yafetzu lecha v'yalusu nesanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzei Torah ki mitzion tetzei Torah u'devar Adonai Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. Adonai, as we stand before the Aron HaKodesh on this Shabbat of celebration, may we behold the wonders of your Torah. Endow us with the wisdom so that we may come to understand the Torah's precepts and learn to live by its teachings. Give us the vision and insight to discover new meanings that will enhance our lives with purpose. May we take the Torah to heart, ever mindful of our charge to learn, to teach, and to preserve our sacred heritage for both ourselves and for the generations that are yet to be. We recite together the bracha that reminds us that the mitzvah of studying Torah is indeed a precious gift. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Amen. We continue page 170 at the bottom, Be'anarachet.
Be'anarachet Belishme Kadisha Yakira Anaimar Tushbecha
Be'anarachet Belishme Kadisha Yakira Ana Emar Tushbechon Yeira Avakadamach Tetiftach Libi Be'oraita B'tashlim Mishalim Delibi Veliba Dechol Amach Yisrael L'tavu l'chaim ve'elishlam. Amen. Udvrav chayim v'kayamim al avotenu ve'alenu al beinenu ve'al dorotenu. God's teachings are precious and everlasting. The Torah is God's eternal gift, passed down from our ancestors to us, from grandparents to parents, from parents to child, through all the generations of the Jewish people. Today, Isabella accepts her role as a link in the chain of the generations, as the Sefer Torah is placed in her arms and the words of the Torah are implanted in her heart.
So after we
On page 171, you'll find Shema Echad Gadlu. We repeat after each of the first two lines as Izzy leads us.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo. Ramema Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai Hagedula V'Hagevura V'Tiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hod Kicho B'Shamayim U'Va'aretz Shamayim U'Va'aretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Ve'Hamitnaseh V'Chol Rosh Ramemu Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu V'Hishtachavu V'Hishtachavu Lehadom Raglav Kadoshu Ramemu Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu V'Hishtachavu V'Hishtachavu Lehar Kodsho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. You are welcome to be seated. I have nowhere, no, not sure where that is.
This is a connection.
This is where you get to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. She needs it. She says she needs a deep breath. This is perfect timing. You need a deep breath. We're giving you one. Take a deep breath. And do you need? So the Parashah of Emor continues the theme of Kedusha, of holiness, which we studied last week in Parashat Kedoshim. However, its focus shifts to the ways in which the priests were to strive for holiness in their roles as representatives of the people before God. And you're going to hear a little bit later from Izzy a little bit more about the priests in the time of the prophets. Emor also contains a list of the holidays on the Jewish calendar, and in particular, the section we study this morning includes the law of counting the Omer, wherein we count each day from the second day of Passover for 7 weeks, and on the 50th day, we celebrate the holiday of Shavuot. So we are in the midst of that period right now. And while we often interpret this period of time as one representing the history of our people's movement from slavery in Egypt to receiving Torah at Mount Sinai, this period is really agricultural at its roots, as it is connected with the harvest of grain, which was understood to begin at Passover time and then conclude at Shavuot. So what happened at the end of this period, this long counting period, and then this celebration of Shavuot on its heels? Well, the culmination again is this holiday of Shavuot, and it was marked by Lechem Bikurim. Lechem, what's Lechem? Hamotzi Lechem, right? Lechem Bikurim is translated as 2 loaves of bread. Of course, wasn't made from. These are 2 loaves of bread that were made from the newly harvested wheat. And you can see this as we look in the text in a few moments. It's in Leviticus 23, verses 17 and 20. So this Lechem Bikurim is this offering of first bread. Very simply, it seems to be that Lechem Bikurim was a way in which we would express our thanks for God for the success of the spring harvest. We take some piece of that harvest and we are able to make it into bread, this first bread. This custom, however, has a historical connection as well. It's not just, we're going to take the harvest and it's agricultural, and so, yeah, here we have it, and we're going to bake bread out of it. It connects us to the first time that the Israelites ate from the wheat of the land of Israel, after having crossed the Jordan River and celebrating Passover. So it fast forwards us through history to where we actually reach the land of Israel, and we're crossing over the Jordan. We go into the land, we celebrate Passover, and on that day, recorded in the book of Joshua as the second day of Passover, the manna. What's the manna? What's the manna that we had? It's that food that God gave us as we traveled through the wilderness, right? We were slaves. We made it out with our matzah in hand, and then we were hungry, and God provides this manna for us. So here comes the manna, this divine gift of bread. It's from God, right? And it feeds the people throughout their journey. And it was provided to them again throughout their wanderings. They come to the land of Israel. They cross over the Jordan, and the manna ceases. Israel now had to eat bread made out of the wheat or barley that was harvested from the land of Israel for the first time. So the ritual of counting the days and bringing a grain offering of freshly baked bread made out of an omer, a measure of wheat, was in a sense Israel's way of showing gratitude for God's gift of an omer's worth of manna for every person in the desert, suggests our tradition. It was a way of thanking God for sustaining the Israelites during their long journey and for the gift of now having a land of their own. So here we're now in a land of our own. You've been giving us sustenance. All right, here, God, we're going to offer up this first bread to you. So this idea of Lechem Bikurim, though, seems a little curious still. I mean, makes sense, but there's something, why would we offer up bread in particular? I can understand bringing wheat, right? You'd bring the harvest. We'd offer up part of the harvest to God, barley or wheat, as an offering of thanks. But why this specific instruction to make loaves of bread, to literally bring lechem, to bring bread? Why not just bring grain? Understand the question? Seems easier, right? What did we just harvest? We harvested grain, so let's just make that grain offering, and we have other offerings that are like that. But in this specific instance, we're told to bring lechem bikurim. Unprocessed wheat and barley would certainly represent the land, but in taking the raw materials, what do? We form it into loaves of bread that make it fit certainly for our eating and for our table, and we express thanks to God for the opportunity for self-sufficiency through the partnership with God. So we grow the wheat on our own land, and we use our ingenuity and our physical abilities to transform those raw materials that God has given us. We don't rely on God completely as our ancestors did with the manna in the wilderness. The manna just showed up, they went out, they gathered it, and they ate it. And supposedly it tasted whatever they wanted to taste like. That's what it tasted like. Instead, here we have become partners, true partners with God in the continuing process of creation. So Lechem Bikurim becomes a way in which we express our gratitude, our thankfulness to God for the gift of the land, as well as a physical symbol of that special relationship with God that we now have, and of our evolution from total dependency upon God to now a relationship of cooperation and partnership. I find it fascinating that the end of this instruction regarding the bringing of Lechem Bikurim, of this first bread, the Torah tells us that we're not allowed to harvest our fields to the very end. In fact, Rabbi Richards talked a little bit about it last night. We must leave a corner for the poor to collect, for those without land to use. So here we're given this instruction, we make these bread, but we're reminded that when we're harvesting those raw materials, we leave a portion of the field bare. We don't harvest that part, we leave that for those who are poor to come collect. So in this way, Bikurim includes not only thanking God for the opportunity of self-sufficiency, but for the moral awareness that owning the means of production implies a responsibility to all of society. The land belongs to God, who gives it to Israel as a present, and that present comes with a moral imperative that the use of this precious gift of the land includes taking care of others who do not themselves have the land or own the land. So while we no longer place loaves of bread upon an altar on Shavuot, perhaps we might think of this image of offering up this first bread as we gaze upon the beautiful loaves of challah we eat each Shabbat. And in case you don't think bread is a big deal, think back to about a year ago, almost a year ago exactly, when COVID was first really going on and we were trying to buy supplies at the grocery store. So many people were home in quarantine were trying to bake that you could not find a bag of flour or a packet of yeast in stock at the store. I know, I tried many, many times. The shelves were empty. So bread still reminds us, and it still remains for us, a staff of life. And whenever we make or buy or eat bread, perhaps we can think about this message from the Torah reading, reminding us of the unique gifts we have been granted and our responsibilities to fulfill our potential as partners with God in the process of creation. I think that's really what our hamotzi is about, that blessing, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, when we eat bread. It is a reminder really of this very idea, that we are now partners, and that we have the potential to be partners with God in our everyday lives. And as we do so, we remember the moral imperative to take care of those around us as well, to make sure they are clothed and fed and have the ability to be a partner with God in life as well. So I hope you'll keep this image in mind whenever you snack and eat later on today, as you take that challah from your lunch today or your bagel or whatever you are eating. Take the time to remember, and if you can, remember to even recite the bracha that directly links us to God and our partnership with God in the world. So we're going to begin our Torah reading with the 23rd chapter of Leviticus, which is often referred to as Seder HaMoadim, the order of the festivals, as it presents the cycle of the holidays in the Jewish calendar. And what's the first holiday of that cycle? It's actually what today is. It's Shabbat. So you will see the following aliyot, this idea as we review the holidays in the context of offerings and of holiness. So this first Kohen Aliyah is going to be found on page 724, chapter 23, verse 1. 724, chapter 23, verse 1. And Rabbi Richards, I have a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
So.
ויעזוב הגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר אמן הכל הבו גודל אלוהינו וצנו כבוד לתורה כהן קרב אהרון כהן בן יצחק כהן מעלה הכהן וציפורה בת יעקב הכהן ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו ואתם דבקים באדוני אליכם חיים כולכם היום.
You are welcome to be seated if you wish. And if you're accustomed to stand, by all means. Let's see where we're at. You can come over here. I'm just finding the place. Either way.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Voed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'notan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Torah. Baruch.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai Moshe Lemor Daber El Bnei Yisrael v'marta alehem moadei Adonai asher tikru otam mikrai kodesh elehem moadai sheshet yamim taseh melacha uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbaton mikra kodesh kol melacha lo ta'asu Shabbat hi l'Adonai b'chol moshvotechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emes v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amdu Reuven ben Moshe veRivka bat Raphael Levi.
In the second Aliyah, we're following Shabbat. The text describes the Feast of Unleavened Bread, again better known as Passover, which begins with the first full moon of spring. We're going to be on 725, verse 4.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam V'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam V'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ele mo'adei Adonai mikra'ei kodesh asher tikru otam b'mo'adam v'chodesh harishon b'arba'asar l'chodesh ben harba'im pesach l'Adonai u'b'chamisha asar yom l'chodesh hazeh chag hamatzot l'Adonai shivat yamim matzot tochelu v'yom harishon mikra kodesh yeh lachem kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu v'hikravtem Tasu v'hikravtem ishel Adonai shivat yamim bayom hashvi'i mikra kodesh kol melechet avodah lo tasu. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
So what is Shabbat? Well, we often translate Shabbat as the seventh day, the day God rested from creation. But as we read in this Aliyah, we note that the word Shabbat refers not to the seventh day, but to an entire week. On the Hebrew calendar, the 6 working days are referred to as the first day, right? They're referred to as the first day of Shabbat. Hayom Yom Rishon b'Shabbat, Hayom Yom Sheni b'Shabbat, the second day of Shabbat, etc. So thus, in reference to counting the days in the weeks of the Omer, we're told to count 7 full Shabbatot. In other words, a Shabbat can be a week as well. And between the first day of Passover, the holiday of Shavuot, there are 49 days. Shavuot is that 50th day. So again, Shabbat, we see it as our 7th day, but we also see in the text that it stands for a week's worth of time. We're going to be on 725, verse 9.
Ta'amod Miriam Tzviya bat Reuven veRivka Shlishi.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vayidaber Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta alehem itabo el haaretz asher ani noten lachem uktzartem et ketzira v'have'etem et omer reshit ketzirchem el hakomein V'henit et ha'omer lifnei Adonai v'tzonechem mimacharat ha'shabbat mimacharat ha'shabbat yanfenu ha'komein.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Ya'amtu Yitzchak Zalman Reuven Aharon Kohen Malea Kohen Shlomit Bat Baruch Naftali Chaim Kohen Aharon Kohen Malea Kohen Rachel Bat Sarah Eliyahu Binyamin Kohen Aharon Kohen Malea Kohen Aliyah Revihi.
Fourth Aliyah, we're going to be on page 726, verse 12.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Baruch. Baruch Adonai Baruch Olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vasitem bayom anifchem et haomer keves tamim ben shnato le'olal Adonai minchato shnei esronim solet lulav Hashem yishel Adonai reach nichoch v'nisko yain revi'it tahin Velechem v'kali v'chaim lo tochelu ad etzem hayom hazeh ad haviechem et korban Elohechem chukat olam ledorotechem v'chol moshvotechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah v'nefekayeh olam nafel b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Shkoach. We're going to pause now to offer a Misha Berach, a prayer for healing for all of those in need. What I'll be doing is I'll be reciting our Misha Berach prayer in the Hebrew, and then reading our list of names, and then there'll be an opportunity for you to add any names on your mind, and we'll conclude our Misha Berach prayer for healing. Misha Berach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachav Eleha Hu Yavrech Li'Arpet HaCholim. Alan Goldberg, Amber France, Ann Francis, Anna Silva, Arnold Gorelick, Avram Glazner, Bob Reynolds, Bob Schiffman, Bob Stewart, Carolyn Devon, David Siegel, Don Alexander, Debbie Danforth, Donna Link Strickland, Dr. Les Feldman, Elaine Munoz, Elna King, Esther Magier, Gabriel Joseph Braun, Garney Griggs, George Geisen, Ginger Middleman Sledge, Gregory Seelig, Grover Shockley, Iris Picone, Jackie Geisen, Jeanette Cobb, Joseph Picone, Judy Stewart, Kimberly Lang, Lily Williams, Louis Navis, Luann Horn, Maria Beck, Marion Braun, Mark Hermelin, Mia Castro, Nehemiah Levin, Patsy Friedler Cantor, Patty Pillay, Renee Nahosa Jr., Reuven Klein, Robert Cover, Robert Teplitz, Roselle Simon Lebo, Rosario Vasquez, Sarah Purcell, Sarah Ybarra, Sharon Abelo, Sharon Bowling, Sharon Hermelin, Steve Cohen, Tristan France, Victor Ikaztegi Delara, Ahava Shira Bat Chana Leah, Adam Ben Sara, Alicia Bas Devora, Elisa Bat Masha Meira, Ariel David Ben Sara, Arya Ben Ada, Bachlin Yoshua Ben Chana Batya, Bela Bat Sura, Baruch Meir Chaim Ben Leah, Batya Leah Bat Esther, Bela Bat Shira, Bela Bat Malka, Bela Bat Rivka, Beowulf Ben Esther, Benjamin Ben Chana, Rachael Bat Malka Esther, Chaim Ben Bela, Chana Bat Ruth, Chana Bat Yuda, Chana Ita Bat Miriam, Chaya Bat Minna, Daniel Ben Sara, David Chaim Ben Tzipora, Eitan Ben Dina, Elisheva Bat Devora, Esther Rivka Bat Devora, Fagel Esther Bat Rachel, Fegi Riva Bat Basha, Faivel Ben Rachel, Fredo Bat Moshe, Hadassah Bat Rea Leah, Chana Sarah Bat Basha, Hinda Bat Chava, Leah Rivka Bat Miriam, Leba Devora Bat Miriam, Malka Sima Bat Elka, Malka Bat Sarah, Malka Bat Zev, Masha Bat Zismarel, Mary Leah Bat Tzipora, Miriam Bat Bela, Miriam Bat Bracha, Moshe Ben Yetta, Moshe Ben Israel Bat Chaya, Moshe Katriel Ben Chana, Nachum Ben Tovia, Nachama Bat Yaakov, Noach Ben Dina, Pinchas Velbel Ben Leah, Rachel Bat Devora, Raphael Ben Wolf, Refuah Meir Ben Nachama, Reuben Ben Peretz, Reuben Shmuel Ben Sara, Reuben Simcha Ben Miro, Rivka Rachel Bat Esther Razel, Rivka Bat Rosa, Shimon Ben Chana, Shlomo Ben Lazer, Shmuel Chaim Ben Yakova, Shoshana bat Michal, Shoshana bat Pearl, Tova bat Sarah, Tzipora bat Michal, Yaakov ben Nechama, Yedid ben Gittel, Yudit Ruth bat Sarah, Yudit Golda bat Elka, Yisrael ben Sarah, Yoel ben Yosef, Yosef ben Avraham v'Sarah, Yosef ben Ephraim Fishal Halevi, Zev Shaul ben Chaya, Tzvia Miriam bat Avigal Batya. If you have additional names, feel free to add them at this time. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleichem Lahachazikam Arapotam Vayishlach Lahem Meher Refuah Shema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Shar HaCholim Lechazek Yedidei HaOskim B'tzarchechem Shabbat Milizok Refuah Krovo Lavo Hashta Bagalav Izman Kariv V'nomar Amen. Refuah Shlema, complete healing to all of those in need.
The Chamisha Aliyah, which outlines the counting, that's a typo, the county of the Omer. No, the counting of the Omer, the period between Passover and Shavuot. You'll find it on 726, verse 15.
Ya'amdu Yosef Yaakov ben Yitzchak Kohen Ma'aleh HaKohen Ve'Ariela bat Yitzchak Kohen Ma'aleh HaKohen Ve'Aaron Kohen ben Yitzchak Kohen Ma'aleh HaKohen Ve'Ariana bat Naphtali Kohen Ma'aleh HaKohen Chamishi.
Again, we're on 726, verse 15.
Baruch et Adonai Hamorah. Baruch Adonai Hamorach Leolam Vayed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Usfartem lachem imacharat Shabbat miyom aviachem et omer hatnufa sheva Shabbatot mimhot tihena ad mimacharat Shabbat hashvi'it tisperu 50 yom vikravtem mincha chadasha l'Adonai mimoshvotechem taviu lechem tnufa shtaim shnei esronim sol hetiena chametz te'afena bikorim l'Adonai v'ikravtem al alechem shivat kvasim tmimim b'nei shana ufar ben bakar echad elim shnayim yiyul l'Adonai uminchatam b'niskehem yishereach michoach l'Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam natan betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. God. Ya'amdu David Adam Kohen ben Aharon Kohen Ma'aleh Kohen ve'Yudit bat Shaya Reuven Shishi.
727, verse 19.
727, verse 19.
Baruch Adonai Barak. Baruch Adonai Barak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vasitem sirizim echad lechatat ushne kvasim b'nei shana lezevach shlamim v'nif hakohen otam alechem abikorim tnufa lifnei Adonai al shne kvasim kodesh yul Adonai lakohen וקראתם בעצם היום הזה מקרה קודש יהיה לכם כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו חוקת עולם בכל מושבותיכם לדורותיכם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher Shanatan lani Torah emed behaye olam nata betohenu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Ta'amon Mazel Yaakov bat Reuven v'Rivka le'aliyah shvihi.
In this aliyah, you find the following instructions that I mentioned earlier. Lo techaleh pe'at sadcha b'kutzrecha. When you reap the harvest, do not reap the corner of your field, nor gather all the gleaning of the harvest. You shall leave it for the poor and for the stranger. So the text tells us that we're not to take everything for ourselves. The land, in essence, belongs to God. It's a reminder of that, who gives it to us, who gives it to Israel as a present. And that present comes with a moral imperative, which is to use the gift for the betterment of everyone, even those who aren't fortunate enough to work a piece of land for themselves. So you'll see this teaching again. We're on 727. We're going to be on verse 22.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Uvkutrechem et ketziratechem lo techaleh pe'at sadecha b'kutrecha veleke ketzircha lo telaket le'ani velaket azov otam ani Adonai Elohechem v'daber Adonai el Moshe lemor daber b'nei Yisrael lemor בחודש השביעי, אחד לחודש, יהיה לכם שבתון, זיכרון תשועה, מקרה קודש, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו, והקרבתם משל אדוני.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, l'chayei olam natan b'tochenu.
Amen.
We rise for Chatzi Kaddish, signaling the formal completion of our study of Parshat Emor.
We're doing Chatzi Kaddish together, right? Yes, after that. Don't worry. Yitkada ve'yitkada shemei rabba.
Ve'amad divra kirtei ve'amlich malchutei
V'chayechon yom yomechon Uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael V'agala v'agala Uv'bizman kariv imero Amen Yehi shmei rabba mevorach Le'olam olam me'olaya yitbarach
Yitbarach ve'yishtabach Yitpa'ar v'troma v'naseh V'todor v'taleh v'taleh Shemei Kodesha
Berichu
Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata
Tush b'chata v'nechemata Damihiran b'alma Imeru Amen. You are welcome to be seated. We now formally call Izzy to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. She's the honor of the Maftir Aliyah. Tahamod, Tahamod, Habachura bat mitzvah, Michal Chaya bat, David Adam Kohen Umazal Yaakov Maftira, Chazak Chazak, Venihit Chazek. You'll find the Maftir Aliyah, page 733, chapter 24, verse 21, as we end the Parshat of Emor. Okay, deep breath. Here, Thomas. Hey, step up. You've done this. Ready?
Adonai
Asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, Noten HaTorah.
Look down at the Torah. There's your cut. You've done this 5,000 times.
Okay, Behema, Yishomina, Makei Adam, Yuma, Mishpat Echad, Yeh Lachem, Kagir Gazrach, Yeh, Ki, Ani Adonai Elohechem, V'adaber Moshe, B'nei Israel, V'yatziu etam kalel, Al michutz ha'machane, V'yirgemu oto aved, ובני ישראל עשו כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה. אמן.
We pause for the lifting in time, or at least the tying up with the Sefer Torah. I keep saying that, automatic pilot. As we rise, V'zot HaTorah. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael ki Adonai
Be'ad Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe.
You may be seated.
This is English. You can handle this. Let's do it. You have a lot of thank yous to say.
I do.
And you took a lot of time to write this thing. So,
I did.
So let's make sure you say it so we can hear it.
Shabbat Shalom.
Stand over here. Hold on. Get it up there for you.
Thank you all for coming. I'd like to give a special thanks to Rabbi Cohen for helping me learn and write the Devar Torah, and Rabbi Ben for teaching me my Torah and Haftarah portions. Next, I'd like to thank Mr. Ray, who should be here, for teaching me the prayers. Thanks to Miss Sammy and Miss Jessica and all the IPRS staff for helping me have this special day here with you. Mom, while you are a little overprotective, I appreciate it. I mean, after all, I am your firstborn. Thanks for helping me get to where I am and for being there every step of the way. I love you so much. Dad. Thank you for also being overprotective, and thanks for the great meals too. But one thing, stop embarrassing me. I love you. Jody. Thanks for being here as long as you have, and thanks for being there for me and helping me too. I love you. Greg. Thank you for helping bring my beautiful brother into the world and for being there for me when needed. I love you. Mimi, I know you don't live here, but I love when we go to visit you or you come here. Thanks for always loving me. I love you. Gurmi and Jito, thanks for all the times you picked me up from school, and thanks for being there for me whenever I need you and for always being just a call away. I love you. Papa, my birthday buddy. Maybe because we share a birthday, we can share this day. Come on up. Not actually. But thanks for loving me and for sharing birthdays. I love you. Brett. Where is he? Oh, thank you. You were an unexpected surprise, but I love that you're here. Also, happy birthday. Sophie and Hallie. Where's Hallie? Oh. I know I've known you for only a couple of years, but I'm so happy that you came into my life. You are the best stepsisters a girl could ask for. I love you guys. To Maddie, listen up. I know you annoy me and do so many things I hate. but I forgive you. I love you so much, and don't let anyone tell you wrong. To my cousins, thanks for being awesome. To my aunts and uncles, Randy and Rachel, Sandy and Ike, Megan, and Nathan. Some of you have known me longer than others, because I was at the wedding. Get it? Okay, no. Okay. But I'm just happy I've gotten to know you all as long as I have. I love you guys. To Eli, you have been one of my BFFs since kinder. Thanks for always giving me the best advice and cheering me on no matter what. To Abby and to Ivy, my BFFs, thank you for always being there for me when I need it. You are the best friends a girl could ask for. I love you guys. Thanks to the people who made this day possible. Thanks to my other birthday buddy for sharing that day with me too. But most of all, thanks to all of you watching online from the live stream, and thanks to those of you here in person. I do? Okay. I don't really want to, but okay. I don't want to do this, but the Haftarah for this Shabbat is taken from the prophet Ezekiel, who lived during the days before and after the destruction of the first temple in the 6th century BCE. Ezekiel tells the Jews exiled in Babylonia that they will one day return back to Jerusalem and the temple. These are the rules they'll need to know once they return back to Jerusalem and the temple. 1, they must wear linen garments and head coverings in the temple and must take off the linen after exiting. 2, priests must do their hair nicely. 3, while inside they may drink no wine. 4, they may not marry divorced people or widows. The last rule was that priests shall not eat any dead animal and or bird that was killed of natural causes or by another animal. These rules are there to help the priests learn how to behave as leaders in the community and teach them that what they are doing is special and holy. Rules give us structure. They help us maintain order. Rules also keep us safe. Rules also teach us a lesson, how to behave better and how to be the best human being we can be. That's why the priests had to follow the rules as leaders and examples in the community. I relate to this because if I break a rule, I will get in trouble. And in the case of the priests, they may no longer serve as priests. When Jews were exiled, it's like in the show Riverdale when Jughead and the serpents were evicted, but they did go back. The priests had responsibilities just like our leaders today. They determined what was and wasn't clean. They were judges at lawsuits. Priests must accept the offerings received too. Ezekiel is telling the people that although they are sitting in Babylonia, they have to have hope that they will return back to their old life in Israel. Although Ezekiel doesn't know when the return will happen, they need to be ready. That means if they don't understand and follow the rules, there may not be hope to return back. I relate to that, again, by knowing that actions have consequences. If I break a rule, I'll get in trouble. If a priest or a rabbi nowadays breaks a rule, they may be told that they can no longer be a rabbi or a priest anymore. The rules for the priests we see in the Haftarah remind us that rules are key to maintaining life order. When people don't have a standard for behavior, chaos can be the result, and bad things can happen. For example, if we don't have rules for driving, we could do whatever we wanted on the roads. There would be car accidents every 5 seconds. Likewise, if we don't have rules that help guide our behavior and work for our holiness, our lives may not be very good. You'll find Ezekiel's message to the priests about the importance of following the rules on page 734. In the dark red book. Well, I don't know the difference. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'mim tovim v'ratzah b'divrei hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nbiei ha'emet b'tzedek. Why am I laughing? 1 second. והכהנים הלוויים בני צדוק אשר שמרו את משמר מקדשי ביתות בני ישראל מעלי המה יבוא אלי לשרתני ועמדו לפני להקריב לי חלב אדם נאום אדוני אלוהים המה יבוא מקדשי והמה יקרבו על שולחני לשרתני ושמרו את משמרתי והיה בעולם על שערי החצר הפנימית בגדי ושנים ילבשו ולא יעלה עליהם זמר בשרתם בשערי החצר הפנימית בביתה פערי פשתים יהיו על ראשם ומכנסי פשתים יהיו על מתניהם לא יחגרו ביעזה וצאתם אל החצר החיצונה אל החצר החיצונה העם ישתו את בגדיהם אשר הבה משרתים בם והניחו אותם לשחוט הקודש ולשיר בגדים אחרים ולא יקדשו את העם בבגדיהם ראשם לא יגלחו וברק לא I cannot go low לא ישלחו קסום יכמסו את רעסיהם ויין לא ישתו כל כהן בבואם החצר השנימית אלמנה וגרושה לא ייקחו להם אנשים כי אם בתולות מזרה בית ישראל האלמנה אשר תהיה אלמנה מכהן ייקחו Why can I not do that? ועתמי ירו בין קודש לחול ובין טמא לתורה לדיון ויריב המה יעמדו למשפט במשפטי ישפטוהו ואת תורתי וחוקותי וחומרתי ישמרו ואת שבתותי יקדשו באמת אדם לא יבוא לטומאה כי עליו ולהם ולבן ולבך ולכות אשר לא הייתה לאיש יתמרו ואחרי טהרתה שבת ימים יספרו לו ויום בו הקודש החצר הפנימי אשרי בקודש יקריב חטאתו נאום אדוני אלוהים והייתה להם לנחלה עניים רעני נחלתם ואחוזה לא תיתנו להם בישראל עני אחוזתם המינה המינה והבטחתם המה יאכלו וכוחרם בישראל להם יהיה דרסי כל בקרי בכל ובכל תורתה Ubechol Torah Matkol Mikol Tiruman Lechem Lakoanim Hiye Ra'asib Arisotechem Tidnu Lekochein Lahinia Brachel Beitecha Konevala Yotrefa Main Ha'avum Bein Havahema Lo Yochlu HaKohanim.
Find the bracha following the Haftarah 175 in your Siddur.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol ha'amim tzadik b'chol hadaro ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer v'yoseh ha'metaber u'mkayem shechol dorav emet b'tzedek ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'emarim mitbarecha achar lo yeshuv Lo Yeshuv Rekam Gil Melech Ne'eman V'rachaman Atah Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaNe'eman B'chol Devarav
Amen.
Achein Asiyon Kihu Bet Chayenu V'la'aluvat Nefesh Toshia B'mhira B'yameinu Baruch Atah Adonai Mesamech Zion Bevenea Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu Ba'alihu Hanvi Avdecha Omacha Vid Mesichecha Bimhira Yivo Libeinu Al Kisolo Yeshev Zar Velo Yimchelu Od Acherim Et Kavodo Ki B'Shem Koshach Nishbat Halo Shelo Yichben Nero Leolam Vahed Baruch Atah Adonai Magen David
Amen.
Ala Torah Ve'al Vodah Ve'al Nevi'im Ve'al Yom Shabbat Hazeh Shenatata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha V'Minucha V'Vod U'Liftifareh Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modem La U'Mavrachim Atah Yivarach Shimcha B'Fi Kol Chai Tami Le'olam Vahed Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. You are welcome to shower, Izzy. Shower with an ark, with an ark. Sweetness, Simmen Tov, U'Mazel Tov, U'Mazel Tov, Simmen Tov, U'Mazel Tov, U'Mazel Tov. Get Simmen Tov. We need help cleaning up. Mazel Tov, U'Mazel Tov, Simmen Tov, Yehela. Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Elecho Yisrael. Mazel tov. They're negotiating candy up here. See all the sweetness flying your way, Izzy? Everybody's got your back today. We always like the opportunity for our parents to have a moment to say a few words to their child during this period of time as they have now, and this is what you've accomplished already. Don't go anywhere, Izzy. You got to stay here. As you have read from the Torah, you had your aliyah yourself, you said the bracha, which marks your becoming a bat mitzvah in particular. You've done a little bit of teaching for us, and you have certainly chanted your haftarah with its blessings. So now it's a little time for your parents, and you can move the step away if you want, if you need to, but time for your parents to share some words with you.
Who's first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Izzy, come here. Izzy. You're okay.
Sorry, I'm good for it.
Izzy, my Bella, what can I say, or should I say, to the girl who tried to write what I'm about to say?
Hey, admit it was good.
First, I want you to know just how incredibly proud I am, and all of us are, of you today. We've seen how hard you've worked for this day, and hard work truly does pay off. You are compassionate, bright, complex, loving, difficult at times. We love all of it. We love all of you, and we wouldn't have it any other way. For the last 13 years, we've planted the seeds of your Jewish heritage through celebrating Jewish holidays, family customs, religious school, family Shabbat dinners, going to Shabbat services. As you stand here today, about mitzvah, we can see the seeds that we planted are taking root. It's your job as a young Jewish woman to continue to establish your Jewish identity and grow. I hope you see that no matter where you are, or who you're with, or where you're going, you'll always find comfort in your heritage and legacy as a beautiful Jewish girl. Izzy, I hope you feel all the support from your family that's with us this weekend, whether here in the sanctuary or streaming at home. We're all beaming with pride. You are a great daughter, stepdaughter, sister, stepsister, granddaughter, niece. You get the point. We love you so much, and I'm so proud of you.
Her dad's.
It's okay. Listen, I'm on.
Shabbat Shalom. Turn it towards me. I would like to take this moment to thank our family and friends for sharing in this simcha, whether you're celebrating with us in person or virtually. Isabella, careful. My firstborn, my Izzy Belly. I have to be honest, I didn't think anything could top the 24 hours leading up to your birth. I mean, come on. The Jayhawks won the national championship, and my dream came true of having a beautiful baby girl. Until the last 24 hours, where the Kansas City Royals are somehow leading the American League Central, and I saw my baby girl turn into a beautiful young lady in the blink of an eye. You read and chanted your Torah and Haftarah portions beautifully. I'm not remotely surprised. I'm proud of how diligently you have practiced, and I have delighted in watching you embrace your Jewish heritage. After all, in Judaism, you are now an adult, but only in Judaism. It is now more important than ever for you to follow the teachings of the Torah. Your Devar Torah spoke of the significance of rules and laws and their roles in our lives. I know you think I'm overprotective, but every rule I've put in place is only to ensure you have the greatest opportunity to be the best Isabella that you can be. You are wise beyond your years. Your love and compassion know no bounds. Your smile and contagious laughter can light up an entire room. My wish is for you to take those amazing God-given qualities and use them to make each 24 hours better than the ones before. I love you.
Can you get this?
Okay.
You got it.
We can go take a seat for a minute. Yep. As we have added some extra words and prayers to our Torah service, we also pause here before we go into the concluding part on page 177. There you will find the prayer for our country and for, on the next page, Israel and for peace. So we ask Greg Sumner, you have the honor of leading us in the prayer for the country. You'll find it again in your Siddur on page 177.
Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessings upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials. who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Adonai, God whose spirit is in all creatures, we pray that your spirit be awakened within the inhabitants of our land. Uproot from our hearts hatred and malice, jealousy and strife. Plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the many people and faiths who dwell in our nation. Grant us the knowledge to judge justly, the wisdom to act with compassion, and the understanding and courage to root our poverty from our land. May it be in your will that our land be a blessing to all who dwell on earth, and you may cause all your people to dwell in friendship and freedom. Speedily fulfill the vision of your prophets. Nations shall not lift up the sword against the nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For all of them, from the least of them to the greatest, shall know me. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. On page 178, you'll find the prayer for peace, and today, the prayer for the state of Israel, rather, and certainly the prayer for the state of Israel takes on new meaning as we saw the tragedy in Mount Meron, as those revelers who were celebrating and marking the Lag BaOmer holiday actually encountered tragedy, and we certainly pray for those who have lost their lives and for those who are ill and in the hospital. We hope that they will have a refuah shlema, certainly. But on page 178, on the left side at the top, you'll find a special prayer for the state of Israel, and as we recite, we again keep in our thoughts those who endured the tragedy on Friday.
Okay. Read. Avinushe, Bachanri, stronghold and redeemer of the people of Israel. Bless the state of Israel, that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it with the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Sophie and Holly, we thank you very much. We ask Pat and Brad Sumner, if you'll come forward. You have the honor of leading us in the prayer for peace. So we add a special prayer for shalom in our worship this morning. 178 on the left.
May we see the day when war and bloodshed cease, when a great peace shall embrace the whole world. Then nations will not, and the human family will not again know war. For all who live on earth shall realize we have not come into being to hate or to destroy. We have come into being to praise, to labor, and to love.
Compassionate God, bless the leaders of all nations with the power of compassion.
Fulfill the promise conveyed in Scripture. I will bring peace to the land, and you shall lie down, and no one shall terrify you.
I will rid the land of vicious beasts, and it shall not be ravaged by war.
Let justice and righteousness flow like a mighty stream. Let God's peace fill the earth as waters fill the sea. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you. If you turn forward in your Siddur to page 181, there you'll find Ashrei in the concluding part of the Torah service. I'd like to invite back up, of course, Izzy and Maddie, if you'll come forward, and you have a bunch of cousins, if your cousins will come forward, and any of our IPRS students that are here, and our B'nai Mitzvah, past and future. So those of you who just recently had a bar bat mitzvah, and those of you who are soon to have one, if you're here, come on up. Matthew, come on. We need you.
We need Brett. We need Brett.
Come on. Tyler, come on. You guys.
No. It's a no.
Page 181, you'll find Ashrei as all of our students, along with Izzy. You stay up in the middle, please, for it. 181, we join together in Ashrei.
Ashrei Shebetecha Od Elohai Haselo, Ashrei Ha'am Shekachalo, Ashrei David, Olam Va'ed.
Shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai, Doeg Teker. What? Oh.
להודיע לפני האדם גבורותיו, וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
Achir kol amim, Mמשלתך לכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים. פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק ומלך, וחסיד מחמסה.
קרוב אדוני לכל קורב, לכל אשר יקראו באמת. שומר אדוני את כל אהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד. ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם, hallelujah. We rise as the Arona Kodesh is opened. Those with the honor of opening our own, if you'll please come forward.
Who is it this time?
We have Fonda and Mindy and Jay and Joyce. They'll come forward, please. Page 183, you'll find your hallelujah.
I'm totally.
Yeah, hallelujah, et Shem Adonai, ki niskav Shemo levado, Odo haaretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren liyamo, tehila lecho chasidav, lifnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai hamayim el hakavod yirim, Adonai hamayim rabim. Kol Adonai b'hakoach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaber Adonai et arzei halevanon. Vayakidem kemo egel levanon v'siryon kemo v'reimim. Kol Adonai chutzif lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh. Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, vayechesof yarot v'hechalo kulo omer kavod. Adonai lama boyashav, vayeshav Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai oz le'am
yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Nucho yomar shalom.
Oh, Hatikara.
Chetzchayi lamachazikim ba v'tom keha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kedem. As your Ruach HaKodesh is closed, you may be seated. Go on back down to Abba, please. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Izzy, you have been giving a lot to us today, doing a wonderful job of leading us in Tefillah and reading your Torah and Haftarah and teaching us a little bit. So now is the time where we get to give you some gifts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this part's good. So we'd like to call upon our president of our board of trustees, Craig Berkowitz, who has some presentations to you. These are under there somewhere.
Oh, my.
You stand there.
Oh, okay.
So, Mazel Tov on your bat mitzvah, Izzy, and Mazel Tov to the family. Wonderful simcha. My name is Craig, and I serve as president of our congregation. And on behalf of the community, we have a few gifts we're excited to share with you this morning to help celebrate your accomplishments. Sammy Mazuz, our director of congregational learning, shared with me that you are a devoted friend, that you're a talented dancer, and a dedicated young woman. You've been committed to your community, and you hold Judaism and tradition as an important part of your life. You show a strong Jewish identity and hold it near and dear to your heart. You're inquisitive and eager to know and learn, always. From Sammy and the IPRS staff, they all wish you a big mazel tov. Since we know you love learning about our Torah and our Jewish traditions, the congregation is providing you with your very own Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, so you can now read up on all your amazing Bible stories and our tradition. And we want to make sure that you can sing along with the fun songs that you've learned here at our Inda Posner Religious School, along with other Zimirot that you will learn in USY. So here's B'chol Echad.
Thank you.
Now this morning you chanted your Haftarah so beautifully that we want you to have a piece to treasure forever. And our men's club has provided you with this magnificent Haftarah tablet made by the artist Gary Rosenthal. So you'll be reminded of your portion.
Oh my God, this is like the whole thing.
It's the whole thing. And our sisterhood has provided you with a beautiful Kiddush cup and candlesticks to celebrate Shabbat. If you open that, the candlestick's in there.
I don't know how. Oh,
And finally, on behalf of the congregation, we have your bat mitzvah certificate.
Get a certificate for that.
And it affirms that you became a bat mitzvah this morning at Congregation Agudas Achim, and it's signed by the rabbis and myself. Mazel tov.
Can I go down these down on my grand?
Here, we can put them back in here, okay? And I'll put this down here.
Rabbi Richards had the honor of working with you these past few months as your tutor, and so he has some few words to share with you too, Izzy.
Hey, Izzy. Mazel tov. Funny. Yeah, I want to teach you a teensy bit of Torah, and then I want to thank you. So the teensy bit of Torah I want to teach you is during the period of the Omer, which is what we're in now, 49 days of counting, there's a tradition to study Pirkei Avot, which is the wisdom of our ancestors. And there's a saying in there that I thought really speaks about somebody like you. It goes like this. Rabbi Yochanan had a bunch of students, and he said to the students, like, how do you have a great life? What should you stick to? What should you work on if you want to be happy in life? And the rabbis gave lots of different nice answers. And then one of the rabbis said, a good heart, a lev tov. And the other rabbi said, yes, I like that answer the best because it holds within it all of the other nice answers that people said, giving charity and taking care of their family, etc. And I feel like lev tov is so you. You have such a good heart. You're warm and friendly, and you smile and you laugh, even in the middle of the Haftorah, which I've never seen, but it was delightful. And you want to give people hugs, and you want to spend time with them. And I'll tell you something that I don't think I'll ever do again, but it was wonderful, is we were Zooming with a lot of our lessons, and Izzy taught me how to use the makeup feature. So it was a delightful part. But it really speaks to your kind, warm, creative, funny soul. You make videos and you would share them, and dance routines and everything else. And it was just a pleasure learning with you, and I hope you continue to learn and take your Judaism seriously, because you have many, many skills, and really you've added a lot to my view of the world, and I think you can add a lot to everybody else's. So mazel tov, great work, and keep it up.
Last one, at least. Yeah, you got me. Yeah, one more. Sorry, we have to say
okay.
we have to say nice things about you. I'm sorry. It's just the rule. You get 3 people doing that. Come here. Come stand here with me.
She's laughing.
Izzy, from the beginning, when I had a chance to start, I got to know you a little bit before we started working together, because I would watch you here on the Bima, and it was very interesting. We used to have when we would have our B'nai Mitzvah class come up, especially on Wednesday afternoons, and kind of watched you, and there Izzy's going to be coming up soon, and you seemed kind of quiet, and then something clicked, and you just kind of took over in some ways. You joined with all of your peers, and you were outgoing, and you were, yeah, I got this, and we could tell that you knew what you were doing, that you felt passionate about it, that you were committed. You weren't just standing here for the sake of standing here. It was really hard work for you, and that's something you took the challenge to really do. And as we worked together to do your Haftarah, your Devar Torah, we studied your Haftarah, and as we were discussing things, your brain was going so fast. You would come up with such amazing ideas, and it would circle around, and eventually we'd get back to the point that we were starting with. But you would take us on a tangent, somewhere fun, and it would be pop culture usually, right? And then we'd end up back right where we needed to be. And so it was a pleasure to see you grow in how you studied and how you learned, and then to see you teach our congregation, to write what you wrote and be able to teach. We appreciate that very greatly, and I've had the, again, pleasure of seeing you go from blossom in this process, really. So we want to place upon you a very profound blessing, the Birkat Kohanim, the blessing of the priests, which you talked about today in your Haftarah. So this makes a good connection. The priests had a very profound prayer, and it's one that we find in our Amidah. It's one that we recite as part of blessings of our children on Friday night.
And so we bestow this upon you now, but I think it takes extra meaning for you, since this was what your Haftarah was about, was how the priests would communicate and how they had to behave and how they had then to represent the community. So these are the blessings that the priests would place upon the people. So I share these words with you and with your family, with all of us here, with the most profound thanks that you have been here, for the gifts that you've given us, and for the hope that you'll continue to bring back those gifts to us as you grow. We know you have your sister not far behind you, and she'll be lucky to have you guiding her way as you have done so nicely. So we offer again our priestly blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May Adonai bless and protect you. May God's countenance shine upon you, and may Adonai bestow all kindnesses upon you that life has to offer. May God's countenance again be lifted up towards you, and may you always be granted a sense of shalom, a sense of peace. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
And I think as we reach this very special moment, it is wholly appropriate that we add the Shehechianu, our bracha of thanksgiving, for special moments in our lives that we've reached. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Mazel tov. With that, we are going to put Izzy back to work a little bit as she carries us through the concluding part of our service today back to Musaf. You will find it on page 184 as I ask the congregation if you're able to rise as we conclude with our brief Musaf service. It's downhill from here. Izzy, you know all this stuff. You've been working hard, so you'll help us carry through to the end here. On 184, you'll find Chatzi Kaddish as we rise.
Yeah. Yikada ve'ikada shemei rabba ve'amadivra kirte ve'emlich malchute
V'yechanu v'yomechanu v'yedecho beit Yisrael v'agalahu b'zman karu v'miru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'olam le'amaya yitbarach
Yibarach v'yishtava v'yipa'ar v'yitroma v'yitnasa v'yitada v'yitala shemei l'kudusha v'yirichu ma'elam tinhalim v'ata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran le'alma v'yimeru amen. You'll find the Amidah that we recite for Musaf, page 185. Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rachem, Elohei Hena, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot, Yigoel Lifnei V'neihem Leman Shemo V'yava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham U'Chokei Tzara Gibor Le'olam Adonai V'chayei Beitim Atah Rav Lehoshia Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed Mechayei Beitim B'Rachamim V'Rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato V'Shenei Afar V'Chamocha Ba'al Gevurot U'Midalelach Melech Memit U'Mechayem
Tzmiach Yeshua. Mechayei habetim. Naritzcha v'nafyishcha seltziach zayf v'kadesh v'nafyishcha. Vayad v'yecha v'kara ze'el ze'v'yamoy. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivot, Melech ol haaretz kivodo. Kivodo ma'ale, ma'ale, olam ma'ale, kom kivodo. Kivodo ma'ale, ma'ale, olam ma'ale, kom kivodo. Kivodo malei, Mishar tav shoalim zela zehayeh mekom kivodo. Mishar tav shoalim zela zehayeh mekom kivodo. Baruch kivod Adonai mimkomo. Yachadim Shemo, Yachadim Shemo, Erev Alokeh Dechol Yom Tamid, Amayim, Amayim, Be'ahava Shema Omrim, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Elohechem. Yimloch Adonai le'olam Elohayech Tzion le'dor v'dor hallelujah. Le'dor v'dor le'dor v'dor le'dor v'dor nagid God lecha. Le'dor v'dor Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim kedushatecha nakdish kedushatecha nakdish. Chacha Eloheinu mihipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Ledor vador Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Yeha melech gadol kadosh v'kadosh ata. Shmo HaKadosh. When you're through, you're welcome to be seated, but as always, please take your time.
100 what? That's a little far. Wait, hold on. I overdrank you at 196. So we just took that. I don't know this one. Oh, whoops. I what?
We continue with the singing of Oseh Shalom as Izzy leads us, the bottom of 192.
Oseh Shalom b'manav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael, ve'yimru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael. 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 Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yakol Yisrael. V'yimru amen. We continue with Kaddish Shalom on page 203.
Oh, that's a little too far.
G'day v'kadosh shemei Rabbah, v'amad divra, k'uter v'amlich machuter, v'hayachonu v'nachonu v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'v'
Aleinu.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Melech. Le'olam olam me'omaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yita'ar v'yitron v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitalesh v'yitkusha
Brichu.
Le'elam v'shirata tifrechata v'nechata v'rambelma v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yabal Talata V'Chol Yisrael Kadam Achavon V'Haya.
Amen.
Shama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chayim Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimeru.
Amen.
Yaseh Shalom V'Romah V'Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimeru.
Amen. Page 204, you'll find Ein Keloheinu. We invite up Maddie, if you'll come on back up. All of your, certainly Izzy, your cousins will come back up. Our RPRS students come back up. Eli, come on, we need you. Our B'nai Mitzvah, past and present, come back up. For Ein Keloheinu on page 204.
Please.
Let her start.
Come
Come on, we need you. Let's go. Come on, Matthew. Yeah, you have to go up. All right, page 204, you'll find Ein Keloheinu as all of you on the bima. Can you get us started, Izzy? 1, 2, 3, go.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Ein Keloheinu, Kadoneinu, Kemokeinu, Kemoshienu.
No del Eloheinu, no del Adoneinu, no del Elokeinu, no del Moshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Atahu sheiktiru avoteinu lefanecha eketoret hasamim. We rise for Aleinu, page 205. Okay, guys, face the art. Sanu Kigoye Haratzot Velo Samanu Kamishpachot Adama Shelo Samcho Kenu Kahem Vegahor Areinu Kechlo Hamonam Vanachnu Korim Umishtachavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamrachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'haya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz V'yom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad U'shemo You all are welcome to be seated. Congregation's welcome to be seated as well. Maddie and Ariana and Sadie and Hannah, don't go too far because we're going to need you for Adon Olam in just a moment. As we pause to recite Mourner's Kaddish today, our Kaddish Tome, again I mentioned our tragedy in Israel. Last count that I saw was 45 people had lost their lives at that Lag BaOmer celebration, so we certainly keep them in our thoughts. We also extend our condolences to Rhonda Gorinsky and her family on the death of her father, Ronnie Radcliffe. Funeral was on Thursday. I know she's been in Louisiana most of the past week. And I'm sure that she would appreciate your phone calls and hugs of support from afar as she mourns the loss of her father. We also mention the names of those who continue through the Shloshim period. We can keep in our thoughts Lenore Karp, who is the sister of Ira Karp, and Lindsay Sintracul, who is mother of King Chester. So we continue to, again, give those families our support as they move through the Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period. We also mention the names of those whose yortzites occur today and the week that's coming. Reuben Butch Edelstein, Leonard Bernstein, Floyd Bossard, Hanan Butnaro, Aaron Charles, Herbert Charlip, Mary Jo Friedson, Richard Kaufman, Deborah Kyle, Gussie Leverant, Mike Lippincott, Nancy Lyman, Noah Mazel, Elliot Matthews, Philip Melnick, Marvin Polensky, Steve Pressman, Shelley Rabinowitz, and Rona Raphael. Those reciting Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, you'll find it on page 207. If there's a name that I did not recite, you're certainly welcome to say it out loud or think about it in your heart at this moment. Page 207, Kaddish Tome. If those reciting, again, you'll rise and join with me. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. V'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. May be seated. We have a few brief announcements for some events coming up in the next little bit, of course. Tomorrow morning is the Sunday, May 2nd, Women's Day Out Jewelry Sale. It'll be in the courtyard. I think the weather is supposed to have been improved from what it is today, so hopefully it will be nice and sunny. You can do some shopping with department store brands and items available for 70 to 90% off retail. There'll be cash, credit, Venmo, and checks, and you can have and do a little bit of shopping for Mother's Day. Hey guys, don't forget Mother's Day is coming up. You might want to do a little shopping. So keep that in mind for tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. during the morning in our courtyard, rather. Rosh Chodesh is coming up as well, and May 11th, Tuesday at 7 o'clock, there'll be an in-person Israeli dancing event in celebration of the beginning of the new month of Sivan. We'll learn about that and learn some fun Israeli dances, social distanced, of course. Bring your own wine, that's the fun part, and you can RSVP to Sammy. You can send an RSVP to the RSVP email or call the office and let us know you're coming. There's also on next Saturday, not tonight, but next 2 weeks actually, 2 Saturdays from now, you put on your radar a trip to Israel. No, we're not actually getting on a plane, but after Havdalah at 9 p.m. on Saturday, May 15th, you can hear and learn a little more about Israel. Again, you can RSVP to get the link if you need. Don't forget as well that our morning minyan takes place tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock here in the sanctuary in person, and Tuesday as well in person. We've added back Wednesdays and Fridays now in person, although we are continuing the Zoom on those days, and Torah reading days, Monday, Thursday, continue to be by Zoom. So we are slowly working our way back into a more normal schedule here in the building. Again, we are being as safe as we can be. There's a few other things to let you know about. The Raindrop Foundation is inviting everyone to a virtual Ramadan fast breaking dinner. It's a wonderful organization that we've had a relationship here at Agudas with for a long time, and it's a wonderful virtual iftar dinner breaking the fast of Ramadan. I'm looking forward to participating, and you can even help to donate some food or money towards the food bank appropriately. And so you can look on our website or look on the email from Tuesday for more information about it. I don't think it's too late to at least register to attend. There's actually some food that will be can be picked up. That may be too late for that, but we hope you will join us online on Zoom for this virtual iftar dinner and help support our neighbors. I understand it's mostly a Turkish Muslim community, and so the Raindrop Foundation is a Turkish Muslim community organization, and again, we are happy to partner with them and to be invited to break bread with them on Sunday evening. I think that is all I've got, but except I want to give some thank yous. The first one goes to Izzy. Isabella, thank you for doing all you've done today to enhance our service, participating, all the different ways you have. You did it. You made it. Yes. Yeah. I want to thank Rabbi Richards as well, who read Torah and davened, and has again been Izzy's primary tutor in her learning and has been by her side to give her support as well. We thank everyone who has helped in the back, behind the scenes, Sammy Mazuz, and we thank Jessica for getting our flyer ready and for making sure the candy's ready and all the details behind. We thank Rabbi Ricky Arad as well in our office to make sure setups and things are going the way they need to, including our maintenance staff, Bea and Maite, and we thank Ira for making sure our audio was working, because believe it or not, that was actually a big deal after the storms the other night. We weren't sure we'd have our microphones working, but we did, so yay, and kudos to him. And we thank Phil and Sherry in the back for making sure that we were all doing what we need to do and where we needed to be. So we thank you for all of that, and Craig Berkowitz as well for doing the presentation on behalf of the board, and all of you for being here. So with that, we're going to conclude, and then we will rise after Adon Olam for our Kiddush, which we will invite the immediate family up to participate in. But page 211, you will find Adon Olam, and as I mentioned before, we'd like to invite up Maddie, Ariana, Sadie, and Hannah, if you will come forward to help out. If you guys will come, are you here? Okay, come, let's do it. Well, Maddie, I see you. You have no choice, Maddie. Oh. Maddie's getting ready. Maddie's got a bat mitzvah date coming up soon, too. She's getting her bat mitzvah date ready. So far, there you guys go. Thank you. So, page 211, as
What up, Ariana?
Maddie, if you, along with Rabbi Richards and myself, we will help. Page 211, Adon Olam. We're too busy visiting here.
Hey, Matt, come on, Izzy, we need you.
She says, who needs your ability?
Okay, you ready?
Can we get it started? Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Be'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hoveh, Vehu Yiheh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Echad V'ein Sheni, Lehamshilo Lehachbira Adon Olam, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'ha'misra Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli V'chai Goali, V'tzorchev Libi Eitzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi Umanos Li, Menat Kosi V'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Be'ado Avkid Be'tishan Be'ayra Adon Olam, Be'imrochi Yehiati, Adonai Le'lohira Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir
Nivra, Le'et
Nasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom. We ask if you'll turn back to page 77. Page 77, if you will rise as we join together in Kiddush. We invite David and Marissa and Maddie, you're already up here. If you'll come and stay up here for our Kiddush for Shabbat. Page 77.
Thank you. Mommy. You guys want to come to here? All right. 2, 3. Veshamru v'nei
Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. והנה ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו, צברי לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. אמן לחיים. Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat shalom, hey Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom everyone, Mazel Tov.
Can I have a pizza and Okay, hold on 1 second.
Find you another piece. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. She did okay. She made it.
She did.
She made it. I'll take hers. I'll clean hers out. That one's hers.
What's that?
I know. I need a stick. Yes, we do. And I don't drink. I don't. I had it confidence that she was just going to be able to breathe. But that's the minute I came over, I was like, no, thank you. I know. Okay. She's carried herself differently. Yeah. She does okay with dancing? Because she's with other people doing as a group?
She could never do a solo. Ever. Never, ever. But she can, yes, but in a group, she's fine.
You want me to clean that out?
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, and then I'll just stop it back.
Everything's broadcast to the whole world. Oh, there's a lot of waters in here. Oops, sorry. It's like bowling, but with water bottles here. Oh. You like put one in.
There you go. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. We do have Torah talk right after the service for those of you staying to study a little Torah. Back in the social hall.
Larissa?
Torah talk is in the back in the social hall, or outside if it's not raining, if anyone wants to join for a short Torah study with a little box lunch. Oh, yeah, we're gonna take a chumash with you. Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
And if you're studying, grab a chumash before you go into lunch. Grab a red chumash. Yes, we do. Yep. Social hall. Grab a chumash with you. Grab a red chumash. Take the chumash with you.
Is it outside?
It's going to be somewhere where in the social hall probably because it's Friday.
Is there going to be a meal?
Yes.
Yay! Is it going to be a glass meal?
Yes.
Yay!
So